Miss me? This is part 3 of a 3-part series. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2, go watch them here. Or not, you rebel.
You're watching Musical Theater MASH.
I want songs. We've talked about who sings them, we've talked about when in the story arc they're sung, but now it's time to talk about the songs themselves, the content, the structure, and, well, some of the complications. I Want songs are as varied as the musicals they come from, but generally protagonist-driven I Want songs tell you 2 basic things. What the main character wants, obviously, and why they want it. And that why, well, it's really important. That's the protagonist's motivation. A character's motivation is not just important for the actor who's playing the part, but it's also a vital part of the story. Really, without a protagonist's motivation, there is no story. There's no reason to be invested in what happens, the action is no longer stage-worthy, and really, you're just left with a mangled mess of a script. So the easiest way to start talking about I Want songs is probably through how the protagonist tells us why they want what they want. Now, in my made-up world of musical theater literary analysis, this breaks down into 3 big categories. Songs where the protagonist really doesn't know what they want, songs where the thing the protagonist wants is a thing, and then songs where the thing the protagonist wants is a person. Existential comparative I Want songs! The simplest songs to get into, I think, are the ones where the main character longs for some kind of existential purpose. The ones where they really don't know what they want. Take Corner of the Sky from Pippin.
Everything has its season, everything has its time. Show me a reason and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cats fit on the windowsill, children fit in the snow. So why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go?
Corner of the Sky is a comparative I Want song. Pippin sees all of these things with their own corners of the sky, and he wants his own. The why is really simple. Everyone else has this existential thing, and I want it too. And that drives him through the rest of the show. Purpose from Avenue Q is the same way.
It's that little flame that lights a fire under your ass. Purpose. It keeps you going strong, like a car with a full tank of gas. Everyone else has a purpose, so what's mine?
While maybe a little less poetic, the comparisons are still in there. Like Pippin, Princeton has this notion of what purpose is, and he wants to go find it for himself. Even in Hamilton.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And no, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
You've got the existential longing, and you've got the comparison. Now, granted, with these songs, there's not a lot to why the protagonists want what they want, beyond, well, just because. And that makes them both simple and effective. They get the audience on board with why, while not really defining what exactly the protagonist is looking for. Then the journey of the musical becomes fleshing out the why and the what of what the protagonist wants. There are lots of examples of these songs. One Song Glory from Rent, or Coffee Shop Nights from Curtains. There's lots of them. Concrete execution I Want songs! One step up on the complication ladder, we get the concrete I Want songs. The songs where a character wants a thing. Like a real thing. Like something you can touch, or something you can see, or something you can have. By and large, these make up the majority of musical theater I Want songs.
I have a secret desire hiding deep in my soul. It sets my heart afire to see me in this role. I wanna be a producer with a hit show on Broadway.
I've given you sunshine, I've given you dirt, you've given me nothing but heartache and hurt. I'm begging you sweetly, I'm down on my knees. Oh please, go for me.
This book is all that I need. How to succeed.
Why, come in, little girl.
I wish. It's not for me, it's for my granny in the woods. A loaf of bread, please, to bring my poor old hungry granny in the woods. Just a loaf of bread, please.
The examples go on and on. A character wants a thing or to complete a task. Sometimes it's a big, mushy, dreamy task, like Leo Bloom wanting to be a producer. Sometimes it's a really concrete thing, like Nathan Detroit wanting $1,000. Whatever the case, it always grows into the bigger plot of the piece. If Seymour had never wanted the plant to grow for him, then the big mess of a show about a cannibalistic plant would have never happened. But the whole show isn't just about Seymour wanting that one plant to grow. I think these songs are neat because they're often a little less spoon-fed to the audience. Really just the fact that these songs often don't explicitly use the word want in them is reason enough to find them more interesting and complex. They do get tougher to execute, though. Where a comparative existential I Want song can carry you through an entire show, often a concrete I Want song is resolved by the end of Act 1, and sometimes even by the end of the song. And so then you've got to introduce other complications into the protagonist's story to keep the musical interesting, and well, that's harder to do. Also, some of them do get close to just being existential comparative I Want songs. You could argue that I Want to Be a Producer is more like Corner of the Sky than it is like Grow For Me. It's important to remember that these are really fuzzy categories. Humanistic, convincing I Want songs! I referred to this last subset of I Want songs as the kind where you want a person. It's a simple description, but really, it's kind of inaccurate. It makes them all sound like love songs, and trust me, they're not all love songs. Verbosely, songs in this category are humanistic, convincing I Want songs. Songs where the protagonist is trying to convince someone. That person can be a romantic interest, or not. It can even be the protagonist themselves. Here are some examples. Take Some People from Gypsy.
Some people can be content playing bingo and paying rent. That's peachy for some people, for some humdrum people to be. But some people ain't me. I had a dream, a wonderful dream, Papa. All about June and the Orpheum Circuit. Give me a chance and I know I can work it. I had a dream.
Rose is trying to convince her father about a lot of things. To give her $88, to trust her to do right by her children, and chances are Rose is also trying to convince herself of many of these things as well. The convincing and the wanting of the I Want song are all tied up together. How about Changing My Major from Fun Home?
And I'm changing my major to Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan, with a minor in kissing Joan.
Allison is convincing herself to accept and follow through with her fledgling lesbianism. Anywhere you hear a song described as an awakening, just take that as a fancy way of describing convincing oneself. The Wizard and I in Wicked. It's a little shoehorny, but you can also kind of count self-discovery as a sort of convincing. Like Elphaba's discovery that her possible future with the wizard is unlimited. Or even take You Got Trouble from The Music Man.
Well, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City.
I talked about this song being difficult to classify in a previous video, but if you think of it as a humanistic, convincing I Want song, then it all kind of fits. Harold Hill's personal protagonist I Want song has turned into convincing the whole town that they're in terrible, terrible trouble and they need his help. It's kind of a tricky category. The biggest earmark of a humanistic, convincing I Want song is a character ending the song in a different state than when they started, often having convinced themselves that they want something. So we've got existential comparative I Want songs, concrete execution I Want songs, and humanistic convincing I Want songs. Three neat categories that all I Want songs fit into, right? Of course not. And really, I should mention that throughout this entire series I've laid out what can seem like some pretty cut and dry rules about I Want songs, and who sings them, and where they happen, but, well, I lied.
Rule 1, the doctor lies.
It is so easy to poke holes in all of those previous rules, and this video is no different. So, to round it off, let's look at some problematic I Want songs. Something's Coming from West Side Story.
Could be, who knows? There's something due any day. I will know right away, soon as it shows. It make 'em cannonballing down through the sky, gleaming its eye bright as a rose.
The lyrics to this song are like poetry, both in how beautiful they are and how impenetrable their meaning is. I mean, is this even an I Want song? Probably. By sheer process of elimination. There's no exposition, it doesn't progress the plot, so it must reveal some of what Tony wants, but he hasn't met Maria yet, and he hasn't sung his probably more explicit I Want song about her, so we're left with not very many clues as to what this crazy guy even wants. But it's still an I Want song. The most baffling song of all, Being Alive from Company.
Want something. Want something.
Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. Being alive.
Company is not a traditional musical, and it does not have traditional I Want songs. Bobby sings Being Alive as the finale of the show. Now, it's kind of an existential comparative I Want song, but it doesn't have anywhere to go, and it's only sort of a comparison, so that structure doesn't really fit. It's also really impossible to figure out exactly what Robert wants, because that's kind of the point of the whole song, but man, does this song make you feel something. And, well, that's really the point, isn't it? That's what we're aiming for. I mean, we can talk script analysis and deconstruct until we're left with nothing but an empty pad of Post-it notes and a worn-out red pen, but really, we're making art here. And all that really matters when you're making art is making sure people feel something. That's what I want, at least. Hey, thanks so much for watching. These I Want videos took me a long time to make, but I love doing the research for this sort of stuff. So, if you have an idea for some kind of tropish thing that's musical theater related, like I Want songs, or like the phenomena of the musical episode that I've done a video on, put a comment down in the commenty thing, and then I'm searching for ideas. I'm looking for things to talk about, and who knows, maybe I'll choose yours. And if you've stumbled across these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, you absolutely should. I put out new videos all the time, and if you liked this one, you're gonna like all the other ones. Thanks for watching.